Peace and greetings, Inspired Tribe. Welcome back to Inspired by Jerica Brochet. If you didn't know, I'm Jerica Brochet, and thank you so much for visiting the Inspired channel today. So if you've been following my channel, then you know that we are doing a chakra series at the moment. So far, we've done an introduction video where I'm introducing you to the chakras and really explaining how they work and why they are important. And then we've also done a root chakra video where we discuss the first chakra, also known as the base chakra, or the chakra that is associated with the color red. So make sure you check out those two videos before you watch this one, just to make sure that things are in order, okay? So we're going to do a little bit of a recap, and then we'll jump into understanding the sacral chakra. All right, so as y'all already know the deal, I always have my notes here on my laptop. I don't know if that's something that I'm going to keep doing. I kind of vacillate between the laptop and my iPad, but I may decide to do like slides maybe. That way I can kind of pop them up on the screen. Maybe that's something that will help you guys to follow along. I'm not sure, but I hope it doesn't offend anybody that I'm using my laptop. But I like to make all of my points, and I want to make sure that I get all of the information in to the video without forgetting anything while I'm going through my editing process. Okay, so bear with me, but here we go. So recapping from the introduction to chakras video, we learned 4 main things. Now we learned a lot, so do check out the video, but there are 4 main points that we covered, okay? We learned that energy is matter times the speed of light squared. This is also known as Einstein's infamous equation, E equals mc squared, okay? And we learned that energy and matter are the same substance, only differing in their rate of vibration or by differing in degree. So what we understand is that they're the same substance, basically on 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. They're basically 2 extremities of the same thing, such as hot and cold, or love and hate. You know how they say there's a thin line. But if you think about it, most times with most things, you can't really hate something unless you once loved it. There's enough energy that's putting into it for you to even express that. So it's really the same substance, but they're 2 extreme poles or polar opposites, as we could say. We also learned that matter is anything that can be seen, touched, felt, or smelled, and anything that has mass and takes up space, such as a liquid, solid, or gas. We also learned that subtle energy is the life force that is also known as chi or prana, or we can also call this invisible matter, okay? It is a real thing. I know there's kind of like this debate as to whether subtle energy can be proved. It can, mainly with experience though, because we don't have technology or instruments quite yet that can make it measurable. And we know that when it comes to science, that's important. And the 4th point, we also learned that chakras are energetic centers of the body, which connects spirit to matter. It's the bridge between the spiritual world and the physical world, heaven and earth, mind and body, so on and so forth. So our chakras are what connects us to the spiritual realm and the physical realm. It anchors our soul, our spirit into our bodies. It's the rainbow bridge, as some people would even call it, okay? I do want to mention as well that it's really important that you start out with the root chakra, okay? And you want to start at the root chakra because this is where your foundation is. And if you don't build something on a stable foundation, it's pretty much going to be set to be rocky, okay? So start out, if you have not watched the root chakra video, go ahead, hit pause on this button, go back, watch the introduction in the root chakra video, and then you want to come to this one right here, okay? So what we are noticing going into the sacral chakra coming from the root chakra is that the root chakra is very much earthy. However, the sacral chakra is more so associated with the water element. It's very fluid. And so a lot of the associations dealing with this chakra is going to be that of flexibility and fluidity. So let's jump into it. I do have one more point that I want to mention in regards to the color. So we know that the sacral chakra is associated with the color orange, hence why I have my orange on today. But I want to mention the electromagnetic spectrum. This was also mentioned in my introduction video to the chakras, as well as in the previous video for the root chakras. So the electromagnetic spectrum ranges in wavelengths from thousands to meters and a trillionth of a meter long. It basically shows us the lows and the highs of different energetic levels. And then right there in the middle is where you have visible light, which is what we can see, and that's where our rainbow spectrum of color comes from. But you also have radio waves, you have microwaves, and then you also have X-rays and gamma rays, okay? And I want to pop a picture up there of the electromagnetic spectrum, but if you have your handy dandy science book that I always recommend, then it looks like this right here. This is the electromagnetic spectrum. And so what we see is that when you're closer to the end of visible light that has red, that's your more dense colors and energies. It's a lower energy with longer wavelengths, so it vibrates at a slower rate. Whereas the other end of the spectrum of visible light, where you have the violet, is going to have much shorter wavelengths, therefore it vibrates at a faster rate. And that is important when we are talking about chakras and colors, okay? This brings me to introducing you officially to the sacral chakra. It resonates at the slower end of the electromagnetic spectrum, right next to red. Red easily goes into the orange. And the second chakra is also known as, well, the sacral chakra. It is also known by its Sanskrit name. And this one I always have a hard time pronouncing, but I want to say it's Svadhisthana. Okay, that's Svadhisthana. Okay, and I'll put that on the screen so that you can see it. But it means my sweetness or my sweet abode. And so we know that the sacral chakra is associated with the color orange. And as a quick reminder that we discussed back in the root chakra video, we understand that color is a property of light. Okay, so when you have white light to shine through a prism, it breaks, the wavelengths break up. Okay, with the slower wavelength being at the bottom, that's red. And then as the wavelengths increase in speed or in frequency, you get up to violet. Therefore, red has the lowest energy, frequency, vibration, and the longest wavelength of all visible light. And violet is the opposite, with the highest energy, frequency, vibration, and the shortest wavelength of visible light. So when you observe the chakras parallel to the electromagnetic spectrum, you're going to see where the red lines up with the root chakra, and then where we are today, you have the orange lining up with the sacral chakra or the second chakra. And so we essentially are moving, as I stated earlier, from the earth element of the root chakra to the water element of the sacral chakra. And it is with the sacral chakra that we move on from just interacting with our tribe, with our culture, with our little communities, to expanding to things that please ourselves and things that bring us pleasure. Whereas more so with the root chakra, you are more concerned with, are you within your culture? Are you getting approval by your tribe? Are they okay with what you're doing? By the time you get to the sacral chakra, it's more about self-pleasure. What makes me happy? What makes me smile? And so therefore, the power of choice is also very present with the sacral chakra and becomes one of the main themes of its expression. The book Anatomy of the Spirit by Caroline Myss explains that evolving beyond the collective energy of our tribes and cultures is what activates the power of choice. Once you move on from that, you are then exercising your power of choice to decide and discern what is right for you, aside from what your tribe or your culture may say is acceptable or is not acceptable. Part of exercising the power of choice is creation, and what comes with creating is the power to desire to control. Understanding this, we can easily add other characteristics to the sacral chakra, such as pleasure, procreation, sex, emotions, and manifestation from a physical, emotional, and spiritual perspective. Physically, the sacral chakra is associated with the urinary system, the lower spine, and the reproductive system. And in the book Eastern Body, Western Mind, the author explains how there are 7 rights which correlate to the 7 chakras. And for the sacral chakra, or the second chakra, it is the right to feel and the right to have pleasure, meaning it is our inherent right to receive pleasure, to feel pleasure, to give pleasure, sensuality, and an overall well-being. It is okay to be concerned with the self, okay? She also states in the book, and I want to say that this one is from Anatomy of the Spirit by Caroline Myss as well, is that procreation or sex is an exchange of energy and in some cases currency. So we know that since the beginning of time, sex has been used as a form of currency. Okay, and so with that being embedded in our culture, we can easily see how the sacral chakra can be connected to finances, money, and issues relating that. She says that, and this is Caroline Myss, she says that the energy of money can easily weave itself into the human psyche as a substitute for our energetic life force. The consequences of this becomes associating our worth with how much or how little money we have. Therefore, many financial stresses tend to express themselves or manifest as sexual organ issues. So Caroline Myss is telling us here that any money issues or thoughts that are embedded in the human psyche about money is connected to the sacral chakra, okay? The sacral chakra also includes creativity and inspiration and the arts and the freedom to express yourself with confidence and to be sure, using that power of choice to decide that this is what pleases you, this is what you like, this is what is sensual for you. And it's very much connected to our emotions because, again, it is a part of the water element. And so there's fluidity and flexibility when it comes to the sacral chakra as well. When the sacral chakra is healthy and functioning at its best, we feel abundant, we feel wholesome, we feel pleasure, we feel in control, and we have the desire and the urge to create and to want to create. And so, of course, if you watched the last video on the root chakra and the introduction video, you know that we briefly touched on the fact that the chakras act as an energetic filtration system, sort of like the kidneys are to the body. And so, if not properly maintained and balanced, the sacral chakra, of course, can become imbalanced, clogged, or blocked. And they basically blockages basically occur when the energy that we receive in, or the experiences that we have, are not allowed to filter through as just an experience, but it becomes, we become attached to it and we harbor those feelings instead of letting them actually flow through. That is what actually creates a blockage, or a clog, if you will, or an imbalance to the sacral chakra. It is when you are behaving in a way that is contradicting or that is opposed to the natural flow in how that particular chakra operates. So when we apply the universal law of polarity here, which y'all know I talk about the universal law of polarity a lot, we can intuit the potential indicators for blockages or clogs when it comes to the sacral chakra. So if you know, for example, that the sacral chakra is what makes you feel abundant and creative and sensual and wholesome, if you are feeling anything that's polar opposite of that, that could be an indicator that you may have some sort of imbalance or blockage with your sacral chakra. So we are going to discuss some of the physical, emotional, and spiritual indicators of possible imbalances or blockages with this chakra. Guilt is one of them. Remember, the sacral chakra's right is the right to have pleasure and the right to feel. So when a person is experiencing guilt, they are holding on to something that they've done or failed to live up to in regards to their own values. And so as a result of that, they are feeling psychological discomfort. Okay. I definitely recommend, if anybody is having issues with guilt or shame, check out Brene Brown and her work. It is phenomenal, and she has a lot of good research and feedback and really good understanding and advice as to what we can do in regards to releasing and getting rid of shame and guilt. Creative blocks, having no desire to create or be creative, or you're having trouble expressing it. This part is what actually connects this chakra to the throat chakra as well, because it's form of expression. If the sacral chakra is where the idea is created and birthed, then it would be the throat chakra that would bring it into expression in a more vocalized way. So creative blocks, that can be an indicator that you may have an imbalance or a blockage with your sacral chakra. Lack of ethics, no sense of morals or personal values. Values, what means something to you? Thinking about things that pleases you, okay? Financial issues, associating your self-worth with material things and allowing money to rule over you, okay? We need to be using money as a tool, as a means to make things happen for us, but not feeling as though our self-worth needs to be attached to money or the material things that we own. Therefore, thinking to yourself that the more you own, the more you're worth, meaning that the better people will treat you, the more that you are worth it to be here and to live your life. No, that has absolutely nothing to do with your self-worth at all, okay? And so if you are feeling that way, that may be an indicator that you have a potential imbalance or blockage with your sacral chakra. Your sex drive, uncomfortable with sexuality or unable to express sexuality, okay? If being sensual and sexual makes you uncomfortable, that's definitely an indicator that there could be an imbalance with your sacral chakra or a blockage. Or if you just have trouble with expressing it altogether, that's something that you definitely want to work on, because when it comes to the sacral chakra, again, we're talking about fluidity and flexibility, because that is how the water element goes. You want that to be able to flow and to have flow. Other physical manifestations of a blocked sacral chakra could be reproductive issues or infertility, menstrual issues, prostate issues, fibroids, and any other urinary system related issues. So if your sacral chakra is underactive, here are a few indicators for an underactive sacral chakra. It could be a lack or a fear in regards to the sex drive. You could be antisocial, insensitive, feeling unworthy, or of course there being a lack of creativity. If your sacral chakra is overactive, however, you may be experiencing sexual addictions, lack of social boundaries, overly sensitive, manipulation, or overindulging, not understanding that balance of being wholesome and well-rounded. All right. Now, of course, we do have some healing modalities for the sacral chakra, and I have some different ones listed. I am by no means an expert when it comes to this, so of course this is based on the research that I've done, and these are just some of the more popular remedies and techniques, different modalities that you can use to help to heal and balance your sacral chakra. So we're going to start with crystal healing. And I have a few of my crystal friends with me. Today, I'm actually wearing citrine, which is definitely an option when it comes to healing the sacral chakra. So some of my crystal friends I have here. I have some carnelian. This is a pretty big piece, but this is my lovely carnelian. And I have some small pieces too that I can put in my little cage here. But carnelian. Sunstone is a good one. Okay. sunstone, very happy, connected to the sun, so it's very energetic. I have some orange calcite. I have some honey calcite. And I also have tiger's iron. This is tiger's iron, but tiger's eye is also good for the sacral chakra as well. Also pyrite, which I do have a piece, but it's in my money bag at the moment, so I did not get a chance to grab it. So pyrite, or also known as fool's gold, would be good. Oh yeah, that was the only one that I didn't actually have right here. So carnelian, sunstone, tiger's eye or tiger's iron, orange and honey calcite, or pyrite. We're going to move on to the yoga poses. Some yoga poses that you can do to open and balance and heal the sacral chakra. We have the cobra pose, the goddess pose, the warrior two pose, the frog pose, and the reclining butterfly pose. For color therapy, you can of course wear orange. You can wear orange. You can also wear the orange crystals, such as what I've shown you. Get you some orange colored sunglasses or something. You could take a bath do like a color therapy bath where you add some orange coloring. And there are, I want to say there's some that you can buy like on Amazon that's like safe for the skin and everything, because I wouldn't just, you know, add orange dye of any sorts to your bath for you to be sitting in. But there's if I can find them, I will link them in the description below. But there's like these little tablets that you can use to color the water, and so you can kind of take a color bath and really emerge into getting that sacral chakra healed and balanced. We can also do sound therapy by chanting Vam. Chanting Vam will help. I do have a few affirmations. There's some affirmations that you can use as well. I only have 3 here. I have, I embrace pleasure and abundance. I am passionate. I am creative. Y'all already know how I feel about I am. If you don't know, go check out my Who and What is God video. I talk about it there. Essential oils. You can also use essential oils to help heal and balance your sacral chakra. We have orange, of course. So the scent of orange, cardamom, clary sage, ginger, lang lang, and sandalwood. Any of those would be good to work with the sacral chakra. And then from a miscellaneous standpoint, there's other healing modalities, excuse me, that you could also use. Of course, as a Reiki master, I have to mention Reiki. You can receive Reiki to balance your sacral chakra, and that is a form of energy healing and energy therapy. You could also do hypnotherapy to help really tap into that subconscious mind and insert some of your sacral chakra affirmations. You can do a past life regression. A past life regression would be good because you can go back and see where maybe over time throughout lifetimes you may have developed a blockage that is more natural to your human makeup or to your soul, and work on that specifically. Sex. Good sex with somebody that you trust, of course, okay? Because sex is an exchange of energy. So you don't want to be exchanging energy with somebody that is vibrating lower than you, or that are really low in their vibration, because you don't want to take on that energy. But if both of you are healthy physically and energetically, by all means, that would definitely help with this chakra. Arts and crafts and creativity. So music, if you like to paint, if you like to dance, really get that body moving. Anything that's going to require you to exercise your flexibility and fluidity would definitely help with this chakra. So I hope that today's video has helped you to understand the sacral chakra, the body parts that it connects with and that it governs, the color therapy, and all the other recommendations that we have here, and understanding where you may be able to pinpoint and discern where you may have an overactive or an underactive chakra, which would cause imbalances or blockages in your energetic system. I do have my chakra healing cards, my chakra reading cards. I think I showed in the last video, which are these right here. So I just pulled out the ones that are related to the sacral chakra, of course. So we have creativity, inspiration, flexibility, and relationships. All right, guys, so that is the information that I have for you on the sacral chakra today. So please like and share this video if you know if there's anybody who could definitely benefit from the information and the content that was shared today. I would greatly appreciate it if you would share and like. Also, please do subscribe to the channel so that you are alerted whenever I post any videos and for future videos. We're definitely going to be continuing next week with the the Chakra Series. Okay. We are going to be continuing next week with the Chakra Series, going towards the Solar Plexus Chakra. That is what will be up next. So please stay tuned. Please subscribe. I appreciate all of your support. I definitely charge you and challenge you to be inspired, be the light. Namaste, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.